All right, so starting on the starting electrical system on this thing, getting it going again. So we're gonna have this thing running on the road here before too long for a couple of small test drives before we dive into paint and body work. Got the battery put in. So I used a Group 27 battery. You can see all the specs on it right there. 740 cold crank amps, 870 crank amps at 32 degrees or above. That should be plenty to crank this 351 Cleveland over. I would think. Originally these came with, I think they were like 24. I think 24 and 27 group size batteries. This one's like the big block group size battery, which it fits in the tray perfectly. It's a little bit big. I've got a little disconnect here just for, I don't have anything else set up on it right now for a disconnect. I'd like to have a switch or something, but this works for now. Just tighten that to engage it, loosen it, and you won't have power on your battery cable. So it'll keep the electrical system basically shut down on this thing when it's just sitting, which is good. You don't want anything to happen while it's just sitting there or drain the battery. So got that hooked up, and I want to show you guys something weird. This car's kind of been wired up since I got it back here in my own home shop and started working on it. The engine wiring kind of been just working on here and there throughout the restoration process, but I want to show you something weird here. All right, so we're inside the car now, and I've got just the column mounted in here, and brake pedal, gas pedal, just really basic shifters installed and working good. I want to show you guys something weird. So here is my original ignition switch right here. These are column mounted ignition switches, and they just mount to the steering column like this. This rod, this rod actuates inside here and hits the contacts on the switch to make it work. All the way out, that's accessory, because you turn the key back, it pulls this back. That's off, on, and then, well, that's on, I think. This one's really sticky and crappy. And then that's a crank. You push it down and crank the motor over like you're actuating the key forward. So I changed this out because this wire was broken off of it, and I just really didn't trust it. The connector's kind of busted. I'm just like, they're cheap. I'll put one on it. This is 6, 7, 8 years ago when I was kind of throwing the interior of this thing together. So the weird thing is, I want to show you this is the harness of the interior harness. I've just got it balled up, kind of half plugged in just to get stuff to work. So there's a big yellow power wire right here, and this yellow power wire is your main power feed that goes into your fuse box, and your bulkhead connector right here. This is your fuse panel. Your bulkhead connector, which goes out to your engine, which that yellow wire feeds directly into the starter relay and your battery voltage. It feeds the inside of the car as well. So trying to get this thing started, essentially the goal is to start it from the ignition key itself and be able to shut it off from the ignition key. So when you go to test drive this thing, it's going to have fuel in the tank. We're not going to have a jerry can on it or anything. Just going to be able to turn the key on, start it, fire it up, put your foot on the brake, put it in gear, drive it, stop it. If something happens or if we're done, just, shut it off, kills the engine. That's the goal. That's the plan. So here's where I ran into an issue. So I'm out here this afternoon, got the battery put in, made sure everything was hooked up, and it was all hooked up fine and dandy. And go to crank it, Nothing. Didn't do anything. Didn't click, didn't buzz, didn't do anything. Huh, that's weird. Double checked all my connections out. The engine, not getting power where I should be getting power. It's odd. Battery's got power. It's fully charged. One side of the solenoid has power, but I don't have any ignition on power. When this ignition is on, the on position, it should provide power to a lot of electrical connectors out in the engine bay because they have ignition on voltage instead of just constant voltage. Some of them do have constant voltage. So I thought that was weird. So I got to looking around in here. I got my power probe out and I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, that's weird. One side, this side, the harness side that's hooked up to the vehicle has power. But this ignition switch that's installed on this column here, you can see it kind of down through there, that rod that I was talking about, it doesn't have power on this side. Weird. Well, got to looking at it. This damn connector right here is pinned incorrectly. If I can get you in here close, you can see how this is squared off up here, and there's slots down here on each side. Well, the harness is the same way. Slot down here, squared off up top. That's odd. Well, if you look at the orientation of these wires, that big yellow power feed wire is that one right there in the middle on top. That one right there. Okay, makes sense. Another one of these, I think this blue and red one's a reference voltage wire. It's down here in the corner. Okay, this is the brand new ignition switch I bought years ago. Obviously, it's just a remade piece of shit from China. That's all you can get nowadays. So, if you look at this connector here, again, this one, this is the side with the tabs on it. That yellow wire is right here. This one, if you plug this in to that, it is not the correct way. So this will only fit one way. As you can see, this is the side with the tabs on it going into this connector. And yeah, the little ears already broke off of both sides of it. Super cool. There's my yellow wire going in. Oh, and nothing's coming out on the other side. There's no pin here. There's no connector. You flip it over, can't plug it in. Won't work. So what I need to do to fix this, instead of getting a whole nother ignition switch and taking this one off the column, which is ridiculous, is there's little tabs next to these pins, and you pry those out with a little pocket clip or a little terminal remover tool, and you pull the connector out. Well, I need to mark off of this one, this original 1973 Ford one, where all the wires are at on it. And then once I mark where all the wires are at, I can depin that connector on the new one, repin it correctly like this one, and have a good working ignition switch. Because guess what? This one that's in my hand, you can plug it in and it starts the car, or doesn't start, it cranks the car. I don't have fuel or spark to the engine right now, but this cranks the car over. When you click this down, this, when it's plugged in and hooked up, doesn't do anything. So, lesson learned for the day. If you guys can stick with your old parts, stick with your old original parts if they're in good working order. Do not buy new ones because you will chase issues like this. It seems like, especially on this older stuff, and hell, this ignition switch could have been for a truck or for something else too, that's pinned differently than mine is. But some guy that's putting it in, trying to get their car going again, is going to be chasing their tail, not knowing that the electrical pins are in the wrong damn spot. So that's my rant for the day. Yeah, we're going to fix that, ball that up probably over there where it is, because that's good for now. And yeah, we're going to be driving this thing here hopefully in the next, well, you're going to hopefully see that in this video or the next one. But yeah, shifter's all hooked up, working. It's in park, drive shaft's in it. We are going to be cruising this thing just around the block. Again, no plates, no license, no anything like that, but it's good enough for an around the block cruise and up and down the alleyway that's in front of this garage. All right, so after some more investigating, you can see I've taken the connector off of this replacement ignition switch that I got, and come to find out there's not even enough wires in here that I need to repin it correctly, and the connector is laying around here somewhere, but the actual connector body was junk. This thing's a piece of crap. I don't know where I got it from, but it's no good. It's honestly really chintzy. The wires are not color coded right at all, so we're gonna get a different one. So got my old one plugged in right now just to test with, and it does work. However, I don't trust it, and there's a ground wire broken off of it, and you know, it's over 50 years old, so I don't really trust it. It's easy enough to change out right now. Once the dash goes in here, it's not gonna be that easy to change out. So I got this one right here. Got it today. It's a standard piece. There's the part number right there, US 81. And it is a ignition switch for the 73 model year Mustang. So it looks way more robust than what I've got in there right now. And it actually has the correct color-coded wires on it. I will compare it to my original one as soon as I can here. But here's the connector. Connector looks way better, way more robust than the one I had on here. It's hard to get good parts. I mean, even this thing is just a reproduction, but still, it's hard to get good parts anymore. This looks way more like the original, like this original switch here, than what I've got on there right now. I'll show it to you. We'll kind of compare them once I get it off. But yeah, so if you got a 73 Ford Mustang, I'm sure it takes this switch right here. So we're going to get it installed. We're going to see how it works. I'll show you that. All right, so got the steering column dropped down a little bit. And here's where the ignition switch mounts. There's one stud on the column right here, and there's one back there. So just slips on those two studs right there. Got to snake the wiring through there and come out on that side, and it'll be good to go. Got the rod right here going from the lock cylinder. Lock cylinder is a little bit sticky. I took it apart, I don't know, a year or two ago, a couple years ago, and I lubricated it with some grease. I think I might have put too much in there. So we're gonna clean some of that out, see if it frees it up, makes it turn a little bit easier, and we'll see if it cranks the engine over. And just like that, we've got an engine that cranks from the key. Wow, what a chintzy piece of crap. This is the old switch I took out. I showed you guys at first. That I took the connector off of. Well, for starters, and again, I can't remember where I got this thing. I got this thing many years ago. This camera will focus. Well, those terminals are really like paper thin. The sleeve's not very good on it. The wires aren't color coded. I was messing with it here and it popped apart. So now we get to see what it does. So this cover here, which is very thin. I'm glad I took this out of the car. The other one's like epoxied. Like this piece is like a hard resin or epoxy, but there's little contacts in here, and these contacts correspond with the wires that are on top. This is a power wire, so is this yellow one. Full-time battery feed. And this rod, as you plunge this rod down, it pushes, sorry, I'm having to run the camera and show you, it pushes this block right here with these springs and these contacts that are laying on my lap. It pushes in this channel right here, and this is sitting on the column, pushes in this channel along here. And that's what engages your accessory and your ignition on and crank. So there you go. Glad we got this out of there. That would have worked for, well, it wouldn't have worked at all. That's why we're changing it. No fuel yet. Tank is in and the lines are in. No fuel in it yet. Still don't have exhaust on it, but we're working on that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned right here to BWESTBUILDZ, and we'll see you next time.